Hi everyone, welcome to Here We Are, Brattleboro's community talk show. I'm Wendy O'Connell, and our guest today is Van Wile. Van is the content manager here at Brattleboro Community Television and is one of the 4 full-time staff cohort here. He does a little bit of everything to keep things running smoothly and on schedule. He also goes out to film local events and helps producers like me create our shows. Van was a film and video production major at Keene State College, and starting as a teen, that's a fun fact, Van spent many years literally under the hood of many automobiles with a special penchant for muscle cars. He's going to tell us what those are because I didn't know either. Van is also a seasoned thrifter and has an enviable collection of finds. Welcome, Van.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for having me on. That's really weird to be behind, in front of the camera when I'm usually behind.
You are usually behind the camera,
Yes.
or up in the booth, or out somewhere, I know. So, okay, we're going to try to make you really comfortable.
Yes.
Or some of your cohort might try to make you uncomfortable.
It's true, yeah.
You came to us here at BCTV in 2022,
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
So it was post-pandemic.
Right.
And you had just recently graduated from Keene State College.
Yeah, very recently. I graduated in 2021. I was looking for places to sort of move around and find something where I could settle a little bit after college and, find what I wanted to do and, weigh all my options and stuff like that. And I found a great place here in Brattleboro. And then the first job I applied for was at BCTV and jumped at the opportunity.
That's really good luck.
It's very good luck.
Good luck.
I count my lucky stars every day. Yeah.
So did you have any feeling before that about community TV or working in the community that way?
I do remember when I first toured at Keene State sort of asking about what kind of opportunities were available and stuff like that. And I was all, so interested in film and filmmaking that it was like, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, they would mention TV production and stuff like that, and I thought nothing of it. I was never interested in it in college. So, of course, the great irony is that I ended up at a TV station.
Right.
But then when I sort of came in for an interview and was talking to Core, the previous executive director, I started to realize, the community values of it and the fundamentals are all things that align with sort of my interests and things that I wanted to explore in my work.
At Keene State, were the kinds of film things that you were doing, did you have something in mind for what you were really wanting to do?
That's a good question. I never really had an idea of exactly what I wanted to do. I always had an idea of things that I didn't really want to do. Mm-hmm. One of them being television production just sort of was not in my wheelhouse or my interest, which of course is great because I now work and I'm so happy with it and love doing it. But it was never my interest in college. And then I remember avoiding documentary film like it was the plague. I just never got into it, never liked it. But I did have a class with a wonderful professor, Ted White, which was about documentary filmmaking, and I ended up actually really loving it.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Not that I've gone back to it or done anything else with it, but basically, what we do here is document history a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're right.
So it very much feels that there's some parallel there that I feel like definitely influenced me a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that Keene State has a really good film program in general.
Really enjoyed all of my classes. I had just like a litany of wonderful professors who, supported everything that we did in all of our work, and just a really great staff there that couldn't have been, more open and kind and just, welcoming and smart.
So you were there 4 years, right?
Yep.
And in that course of time, you were doing pretty much film every year, some aspect of it.
Yeah, basically.
Were there any things in particular, whether it was teachers or classes, that really got you interested?
We had a Exhuming the Archive class with another wonderful professor, Taylor Dunn, who it was a semi-collaborative class. Sort of, we worked either in small groups or on our own or stuff like that. And we did a lot of, this was during COVID times too, so this is all over the laptop at this point. The idea of archiving and using that kind of stuff to stitch together a new film from something that already existed or was, long forgotten or something like that. It was such an interesting concept to me. I think I really dove into that, and I found a lot of inspiration, I think, from that specifically.
You were born and brought up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire?
Yes, I was born in York, Maine. So if anyone ever asks, I always say that I'm from Maine because that's where my parents live now. But I was raised for a good portion of my life until I think I was 17 in Portsmouth.
And so your dad was a business consultant, your mom was a social worker, you were the youngest of four.
I was the youngest of four, yes. Yeah, I have a foster sister and then two older siblings. We were a very close-knit family, and especially because of the age, I think. We definitely had a lot of stuff like that. So my mom, brought my sister, my brother, and I to King Pine, which is a very small ski mountain in northern New Hampshire, and taught us all to ski by basically dropping us with the ski instructors and then having an entire day of skiing to herself. So
worked out.
Very smart, worked out.
Yeah.
So from a very young age, we learned how to ski. And
that's the way to do it.
It's the way to do it.
You're close to the ground. For
yeah,
one thing.
exactly. Yeah, we're surrounded by so many like world-class skiing things, and I never had taken advantage of it really. And now in the last few years, my sister has actually been like gotten into it and has invited me out to go ski with her and her fiance and their kid, and so we've had like ski days, and,
that's
and
nice.
it's really great. Yeah. So that's gotten me back into it, and now I can just go on my own when I have time.
When you were a teen, I mentioned the cars, but you also did a little theater.
I did, yes, I did do a little theater for a while actually.
Yeah.
Ever since I was like maybe 10 or 11, we had a small black box theater called New Hampshire Theater Project. And they had a youth rep and then a senior rep. So I did a youth rep thing, moved into the senior rep, and then became like an intern.
So you were into being a performer.
Yeah, initially that's kind of how that my career path, I guess, took me. Is that I liked the vibe of it, I liked the energy, and I liked the type of people that I would meet there.
Do you think about doing it again?
Oh, never.
No, really?
No, it's so, my interest has shifted so much to sort of digital media and filmmaking and everything that I do in my job now. It's definitely sort of, that's where my passion lives.
Yeah.
But I still, part of me wonders about it maybe. And I definitely go and see, plays every now and again. I still enjoy it. It's just, for me personally, it's so different from the world that I like inhabited for so long. And
well, and also the difference between theater and film, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. How is that for you as a viewer?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like they're so they're lumped in together a lot of the time, but they're so different. The language of them is different. The way you act in them, perform in them, make props for them, everything like that. So I credit a lot of sort of my interest in that kind of thing as to my early theater days and to all the mentors, the wonderful mentors that I had there, and all the friends that I made.
So theater skiing, and okay, let's talk about cars. Let's talk about muscle cars, because it's one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
I know. We talked the other day, and it was fun to talk to Van about it. And he mentioned muscle cars, and I had to like rack my brain to think of, okay, what does that mean? So the closest I came, right, was Mustangs.
Yes, which is a muscle car.
Which is a muscle car.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's funny because it started as it's muscle cars and stuff like that feel like they're all marketing. You know what I mean? So back in the day, it was sort of seen as like a secretary's car. And so they thought, well, how can we make this, more of a sporty, interesting car that Americans will want to buy? So they put a big old engine in it, made it really fast, and the rest is history.
What are some other brands that we would know?
So another one is a Chevy Camaro is another famous one.
Yeah.
Dodge Challengers, stuff like that, Dodge Chargers. So a lot of that love came from film as well, as many things do. And my mom and I have a shared love of that. She always says that if we win the lottery, the one like nice thing we'll allow ourselves to splurge on is a 69 Chevelle. And it has to be red and it has to have black stripes.
Wow.
That's her dream.
That's really interesting. So where did she get that?
I think she was born with it. Growing up in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, it's just sort of, that's the cars that were around. And I'm sure she has mentioned that she has had many boyfriends that had, tricked out muscle cars like that she was just like, oh my God, if I had those today, how cool would that be?
That's what I was saying. The other day when we were talking about it, I was like, I really was racking my brain and trying to think, okay, what boyfriends had what cars? And as I said, I had one boyfriend who had a Model T that he drove, which was really cool.
That's insane.
It was cool in a whole different kind of retro way.
Yep.
But yeah, a Mustang was as close as I could get. And
That's about as good as you can get too.
Is it really?
Yeah. That's probably the top of the one of the most popular
Also, a
ones.
great song, right? Otis Redding, Mustang Sailing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I got to say, I also went back to Route 66.
Really?
Did you ever watch?
I've never actually been there, which I would love to, but
No, I mean the TV show.
I've heard of the TV show. I've never watched it though.
You should definitely watch
Yes.
the TV show.
Yeah.
I think that all muscle cars, from my point of view, which is zero knowing about this, everything about muscle cars was based on Route 66.
That makes sense.
Two guys going cross country.
Oh, man.
And I don't know what kind of car, but that's something to look up.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from cars. Your family also has a connection with Nova Scotia, is that right?
Yes, my dad is from Nova Scotia, and he's actually still a Canadian citizen. So we have dual citizenship.
Oh, the whole family does?
The three of us, the kids do. So my mom never applied for it. She kept her American citizenship. My dad never applied for American citizenship, kept his Canadian one, which means that his children all have dual citizenship.
They do, wow.
Yeah, so.
Well, nice to have in your back pocket.
Exactly, yes. We've traveled there several times,
Yeah.
and we used to vacation in Canada in Prince Edward Island, actually, which is like one of the most beautiful parts of the world. We always talk about going back there. It's such a different pace and different lifestyle. Visiting family, it's always nice to see, but it's just so.
Oh, so you have extended family there.
Yeah, just part of my dad's side. Last November, I was able to drive up, just me and my dad,
Nice.
and make this like pilgrimage, and got to see my grandfather for the first time in maybe a decade or more, and see his house and like all the things that I sort of vaguely remember and can kind of put together, and then sort of seeing it as an adult, it was really amazing.
Yeah, it's really different.
It's really
too.
beautiful.
And the scale is different too.
I remember his backyard being massive and open and like like a field, and then I got there and it was this tiny little house in the suburbs. It was really funny.
Yeah, it is. It is funny how that works. Let's get back to BCTV because that's where we are right here, and where you've been now for this is your third year.
This is my third. I had my work anniversary a couple weeks ago. Yeah. We have it in the calendar as the day we were hired or started or whatever it was. So yep.
I have not heard that word before.
Really? Okay.
Workiversary.
Workiversary. Yeah.
You came to BCTV right at a point of really big change.
Mm-hmm.
Change over from people, Core, Trowbridge, and Vlasta Popelka, who had been here for years, and even decades, plural. And then Nolan started as production manager, went to production manager. You have his old job as content manager. Can you describe to people what content manager is?
Absolutely. Yes. It's funny. I feel like I'm the job that you have to describe what you do at
That's
BCTV because it's so, behind the scenes and stuff like that. So my job basically consists mostly of scheduling out when shows, just like this episode and your show and all our regular programming will play out on the channel. So I have a spreadsheet of all of our content that we have and the duration, and I'm placing it in spots throughout the week, making sure that it reaches its playout, managing all the files and all that kind of stuff, and filling our playout on our Comcast channels basically from midnight at Monday to the midnight on Sunday. So that's the bulk of what I sort of do on a day-to-day basis. But the wonderful thing about working at BCTV is that I have the opportunity to do so much more. So I'm involved in all of our productions as well. So if you see one of our live streams, it's basically we have a bunch of different cameras that we're taking in, and I'm switching between them and telling our wonderful camera people what to do, what to look at, sort of where we want the focus to be. And so that's a really exciting part. It's like, it's our live productions are sort of our bread and butter almost. And we have a select board meeting, so we're controlling that as well and making sure that the live stream gets out and is successful and gets out to the voters. So that's basically the bulk of what I do. And then I'm also out there helping with gallery walk and filming that, also with any number of our wonderful staff. So I'm really lucky that I get to take part in all these different little projects and events. It's really,
Right, yeah. Well, you guys are always doing something different. And another big piece of this, of course, is all the equipment that goes into every single move that you make, pretty much.
So much equipment. Oh, yeah.
So much equipment that you have to move around and carry. And and there are, of course, there are different kinds of productions that you're working on. Something live like Gallery Walk, or people hire you as well to film something that they have going on, whether it's like at 118 or at the library or other places in town that would just like some TV coverage. And then you often will edit those as well, which is another task to do. It's another skill.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's another thing in the chain of command, sort of.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know. It's like anything, you don't really know what goes into something, until you either follow along or ask questions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, one of the great things that I've seen, I've been here a little over 8 years, and to see the shifting dynamics in staff, because that really is the heart of BCTV. And one thing that is so interesting is seeing the four of you, and so that's you and Helena Leschuk, who is operations manager, Nolan Edgar, who's production manager, and Johnny Gifford, who is the executive director. So it's a much younger crew, for one thing. Talking about you and all the fun that you guys have together and the parties that you have, and nobody's birthday goes unnoticed,
basically,
or uncelebrated, at least. And for all of us producers, it's great. We walk in and there's stuff happening right away.
Absolutely.
You guys are always doing something or having something happen between you. And to see you folks, especially like a gallery walk, and you are running around, literally running around from event to event on those evenings, which are so fabulous. It's so great. What's your impression of Gallery Walk and working together in that kind of way?
Yeah, it's always sort of a whirlwind, which is so funny, because when it's done, it doesn't feel like it happened. It's sort of one and done, and then it's sort of right behind you. But it's really amazing, because I was thinking to myself, of all these events that I'm going to as a production person now, and thinking about it that way. But then when you get to the event, there are parts where you just get to take part in the event, and you get to walk around and see all the, recently we had the Festival of Miniatures happen downtown, and we're able to go film that. Whereas otherwise, I may not have had the opportunity to do that, or get to speak to the, shop owners at the time and interview them and learn about what they do, what their business does, what they can, all this wonderful stuff. So that's really the experience of it, is just so collaborative, and we're always, I think if you ever see BCTV out in public and working at anything, we're usually making each other crack up, and we're always having a good time, unless something is going horribly wrong, and then you can tell, and we're sort of stressed, but it makes its way, it always works out in the end. And we always end up back, laughing with each other and having a great time.
You guys do look like you're always having a good time. And you're doing things that are very stressful. Harris Hill Ski Jump is another huge event, that you all have to take part in. And then you're dealing with weather as well.
Yes, yeah.
Any stories that you've got from Harris Hill so far?
Oh my gosh. Well, so last year, I think it was last year, we had to clear out, basically. So we stuck the 2 nights together. Usually it's a Saturday and a Sunday jump.
That's right.
And there was a snowstorm coming in, and so they had to combine the 2 jumps into one night. So they went even longer into the night, as we're sort of like, getting ready to have to pack up all of our stuff, because we can't leave it all there, really. And then we're going to have a snowstorm, so everything's going to be snowed over. And so we basically were like, all right, snow jump's done, or the ski jump is done, we're ready to pack up. And we cleared out of there so quickly and so efficiently. And just like, it was just like move. It's always sort of seat of the pants kind of stuff, it's just constantly moving, but it brings that energy to it, and that collaboration, there's just nothing that can beat it.
You work together, and then you also go off to various regional things that happen with public access TV. You've won, this is a big year for awards for you folks.
The biggest one is we won overall excellence in our budget category, which is amazing, because we moved up a budget category. So now we're like in the big leagues with some of the other huge stations, like in larger cities, and we're in this tiny little town. It's really amazing. So we won overall excellence, which just means that we have provided, PEG access in an excellent manner to our constituents, basically. The wonderful Seth Thomas had a promo that we won an award for, that he won an award for. We won so many wonderful awards this year, it's been really wonderful to be celebrated by an organization like that.
You've also gone much further afield for various workshops, I think, and also trainings in different things too. So you each are keeping abreast of changes that are happening. BCTV in particular, and all of the media in town in general, which includes the Commons and the Reformer and WVEW and the library as local public media are not only collaborating together, but each has their own strengths. And I think it's reached, the way I feel about downtown too, it's reached a critical mass of real excellence, in
Absolutely.
in energy, more than anything else, but all of the factors that play into that.
Totally, yeah. I mean, so just recently we actually started a radio show on WVEW of BCTV content that was first aired. And so we're sending that out every Friday at 6 to 8 is when it's playing. We have so much more like collaborations happening with them. They're going to be joining, I believe, sort of our distribution system of getting content out. And they have a great emergency preparedness sort of informational network to get info out in emergencies that we just sort of don't have access to. But they're down the street. Let's just work together on this, and just increase the spread and the net that we can help serve in the community. It's just been really amazing what we can do, and some of the events that we've just been asked to do have been really, really special, and some great like speakers in the recent from Memorial Library, just some really special stuff that we've been able to take part in just because of our our organizations.
It's like this web because the Reformer will carry certain stories that you guys are covering, or WVEW will have a show. Johnny Gifford has a show on WVEW.
Oh, yeah.
There are all these interminglings, which makes so much sense,
Yeah.
for all of us to be working together that way.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. Local film productions. There are a few folks in town who are making their own films. Austin Rice comes to mind immediately. He's also on part-time staff here, filming things in the community. Are you involved in, I know that you are involved in that, but does this make you think about you making your own local film?
It's interesting. It absolutely does, yeah. Just being able to see, I was on set for 2 days of Austin's film, and it was just incredible to see the amount of work and the ambition and the just the amount of camaraderie that they were able to garner for this film. I mean, it was truly amazing to be there and to see. And yeah, it does. It's inspiring. It's really motivating. I have, it's sort of, it's that thing where you mention it once to your friends and you think, oh, haha, that'd be a funny idea for something, or even coworkers, we'll be joking around and be like, oh, that'd be a great skit for whatever. This would be a great something for, whatever. Then you sit down and think and you're like, wow, we could do this. We have everything we need. We could make this happen if we wanted to. So it does make me think about that. Yeah. For sure.
If you were to go down that road, what kind of genre do you think it would be?
Oh, I don't know if you know, but I wrote my senior thesis paper, capstone paper on genre and film.
Oh, you did?
I did, in a certain way. I love genres and niche genres and then subgenres. That's my bread and butter. So I couldn't pick just one. I would have to dabble in every little thing. I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the idea of what you say though is like sitting around a table and throwing out ideas,
Yeah.
and then being like realizing, oh yeah, you have this, you can do this, and you could do that, and
everyone's got the skills to make it happen. It's pretty amazing. A
lot of people in town.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And also the ideas, and bringing those ideas to life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the world of thrifting.
Yes, let's do it.
Because I know that it's become so much more of a thing than it used to be. In the olden days, back here when I was first living here in the early 80s, we had our places that we went to. And there weren't that many, but there were some, fabulous finds. It's like you'd come across something. And of course, my vintage is different than yours.
Absolutely.
Now.
Yeah.
Your vintage is like my old clothes in my closet, basically. So how did you get on that little trip?
It's funny. I don't actually know how I fell into it. I think it's just such a cultural,
it is.
touch point for so many people. And it's so interesting. I sort of one of my biggest interests in it is, all this vintage denim and this old denim. It's such a fascinating sort of obsession that so many people share. And finding things that look worn in or look, distressed or have that feel to it,
Yeah.
or, actually just were.
Yeah.
There's a great person on, he's called Indiana Jeans on Instagram.
Very good.
And he will go into mines and basically spelunk, looking for, turn of the millennia or century or whatever
Into
it is.
mines?
Into old coal and copper and mines like that out in the,
Like Appalachia.
Southwest or something like that. Yeah. And we'll look for discarded old denim.
Really?
And we'll sell them at auction. And he described it once as it's like a canvas, you can see everything on it. So he'll find ones with this like wax, hot wax dripping pattern on it because they were, using candles and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it's like, it really is like a painting. It's something. So that's like the allure of it, sort of, I feel
Yeah.
like, is that lived in feel, that timeless design a lot of the time is sort of, you can find through thrifting and just sort of like a design language and a something about it really just is captivating, I think. And to many young people like me who see it so much, online and having access to the internet,
Yes.
and being able to buy it online,
Yes.
I feel like you just see so much of it. It's like
So much more, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be, there were 4 or 5 places in town, where you could go. And, I think there's a difference between used clothing and vintage clothing. It's a fine line.
Yes, yeah.
And it really depends, like in town now, we've got quite a few places to go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to leave anybody out, but it's a long list.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, from Goodwill, to Twice Upon a Time
Mm-hmm.
and to Morning Glorious.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get in trouble because I am going to forget people. But there are like about 10 places you can go just in our town.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to go to or a favorite site?
Well, it's tough to beat Twice Upon a Time just because there's so much interesting stuff there.
So-
Not only do you find clothes and stuff like that, but I found posters. I found, I've found just little trinkets. I found gifts for people. So
Yeah.
just the amount of eclectic stuff that they have there is hard to beat. So that's my usual go-to.
I just love the fact that it's like bookstores. Now again, we have 5 viable bookstores
Yeah.
in Brattleboro. There for a
Absolutely.
while it was dwindling and now it's surging back. Speaking of thrifting and things like that, but you have a little collection that completely befuddled me.
Yes.
So let's talk about
Let's
that.
talk about it. A couple, maybe a year into working there, I made an offhand joke about eating silica gel packets, those little packets that keep your goods dry
Right.
when you ship them. And it
Yeah.
says very obviously on the label, it says silica gel, do not eat.
Yeah.
And I made an offhanded comment about how I wanted to keep it so I could eat it later, have it for later like a snack. As most jokes like this that get blown out of proportion, it started as a stupid joke that wasn't really that funny.
Right.
And then every time, because we are a production house basically, we get a lot of new equipment a lot of the time. We get a lot of things that need to be shipped with, silica gel packets. Of varying sizes and shapes and colors.
Yeah.
Every time we got one, it would go in my office, and so now I have a wall of silica gel packets lined up basically for my consumption at later time. Yeah.
At a later time.
Yep.
Well, in case of Armageddon, you'll be at least dry.
Yeah, it'll at least be dry. Yeah, I'll be well preserved.
You also have, and I'm not sure how deeply we can go into this. You have a murder board in your room.
I have a conspiracy board in my office that I've been working on for several years. Just to give you a quick rundown, basically, a crime was committed in, I want to say, May of 2023, possibly 2024, maybe even. Where
a crime or a real crime?
Well, a fake crime.
Okay.
There was a package of crackers that had been bitten into through the plastic packaging. The center cracker was nearly destroyed. And someone had taken that, bit through the plastic and the cracker, assumedly spit it out, and then put it right back into our snack bag. So I couldn't let that stand.
Mm-hmm.
So I put together a board with red string and all of our suspects and tied it, to this cracker to see who could fit the bill. And we have several suspects, but no leads. It's been kind of a cold case for maybe a year now. But
yeah, I gotta say,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like you've got a crack team
No.
working on this if it's been over 2 years.
No, it is not made a huge inroads. Yeah, it's just me. So
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a commitment to the bit. That's the popular thing now.
That's a really good line.
That's a commitment to the bit.
Yep.
That's
great. I like that, Van.
So.
Well, I am very glad that you are committed to this bit. I really appreciate the fact that you're here and all that you do, all you've done for me, the little holes that you've dug me out of with Premiere Pro. I really appreciate it.
Can I just make one comment that
Please.
You have a talent that no one else has, I think, in the world of finding the most niche and hard to research issues with Premiere Pro. And I think they need to hire you, truly. Because you'll say, so how did this happen? And I'll walk up to it and sort of say, I've never seen that happen. Let me do some research and look up what this means. And then I'll have to come back to you and say, I don't know what this means. Let's save it, close it, reopen it, and then it never happens again.
Right.
So I commend you to that because it keeps me on my toes. It's like the best way to learn, you know? So it's been really, it's always funny to me.
You know, folks, I got to say, I don't quite know how to accept this accolade, but it is true.
It's true.
It's true.
I think it's just bad luck, you know? It's just...
No, I think it's an energetic field.
Oh, you think
Frankly.
so? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That's my theory because
I like it.
It's prettier, right?
Yes,
than just
yeah.
What the? Yeah, I know. Well, I thank you.
Yes.
I am very appreciative of you guys helping me out because God knows I can't do it myself.
Well, you do so much for yourself. You already edit and everything. So we are so impressed by that. I feel like it's a hard thing to do even for us sometimes. I mean, like, yeah.
Well, thanks for turning that around. I appreciate it. Van, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Wendy.
Yes, you've exposed me to the public.
Thank you so much, Wendy. This was so much fun.
It was fun.
I'm so honored to be able to do this.
Oh, it was great. Thanks to all of you for joining in the fun here at BCTV. Every day in every way, we try to have a good time. Tune in next time. We'll have someone from the community coming on, someone who's not Van, but who will have their own story. So we look forward to having you.